Schönen guten Morgen. I want that friendly Munich welcome it's so famous for. Very pleased that you can all join us here today. My name is Christopher Ludwig. I'm the editor-in-chief here at Automotive Manufacturing Solutions and Ultima Media. And I, together with some of my colleagues, will have the pleasure of hosting you throughout the day as we take this journey through automotive manufacturing and the transformation that we're seeing across Europe. For many of you, managing and planning production in this time of extreme disruption, uncertainty, transformation, it is really becoming quite a science and an art, I'm sure. Investing into the perma-crisis, that's apparently the word of the year in the UK, by the way, perma-crisis. I don't know if we can translate that into German. But this is basically the constant disruption that we've faced from the pandemic, semiconductor, labor shortages, Russia-Ukraine, cost of living, inflation. I don't have to name more. They're obviously impacting manufacturing, the automotive industry across the board. And it's coming on top of the transformation requirements from regulations, electrification, sustainability. How do we manage this all at once? How do we keep motivated? How do we grow our supply base? How do we invest in technology in this time? These are just some of the topics that we're going to be going into detail today at the first Automotive Manufacturing Solutions Automotive Evolution Europe Summit. One of the key points we'll be addressing is really time to market. How do we get products out faster? How do we get into production faster? How do we manage change in a new way? We're in a completely different environment than maybe 10 years ago, when we still would talk about 5 to 7 year development cycles and model cycles. Now we're moving into over-the-air updates. We have a constant change management, which has huge implications across manufacturing as well. And let's be honest about some of the challenges that we face in Europe. As mentioned, the crises, cost, legacy plants, legacy systems, perhaps gaps in critical areas of the supply chain, especially when we start to talk about battery cell production and equipment around that. And we have lofty targets, which we all are trying to reach, but it's not always certain how quickly and how easily we will get there. And on top of that, when we talk about agility, when we talk about flexibility, when we talk about true digital culture and innovation, there is perhaps also some ways to go, and strong competition from the US, from China, which, part of what we want to address today is really how we can catch up. How can Europe become a real pioneer again in automotive manufacturing? Because ultimately we see the outlook is bright. The investment levels are increasingly there. The opportunity is there. The talent and skills are there. And many of the people in the room here today, we think, hold the key to unlocking that. So it's really about how we work together to unlock this potential. And you're going to see throughout our agenda today, and certainly offline together in rooms, in discussions and networking, how we can really scale and leverage these opportunities. Because as said, the opportunity is there. The outlook, ultimately, despite these crises, is strong, or is positive. So before we get into some more of the session, let me just tell you a few things about the event. Firstly, thanks for many of you who joined us yesterday during for the tour of the BMW Munich plant. I hope you enjoyed it. It was certainly a glimpse into some of the transformation in action, and also some of the challenges that we alluded to, okay, in terms of how you ready a 100-year-old plant for a new era of electrification. Sat in the middle of a major city with space constraints and again with building constraints, etc., permits, etc. How do you do that at pace? We're going to hear later today at the end of the day from Peter Weber, the plant director there, in a bit more detail, of course, how BMW is managing that, and again throughout the day we'll have much more to talk about. And also the drinks reception last night. Hope that was great to meet many of you then, with an opportunity to hopefully more informally get to know each other and talk about some of the topics that we'll then address throughout the program today. We have a pretty fast-paced agenda, something like 10 sessions that we're going to get through by the end of the day. I can say in the beginning, all of the sessions are shorter than we would like them to be. There's way more to discuss, but the idea is to get you thinking, get you starting discussing on key topics from battery cell, data and digitalization, innovations in paint shop, manufacturing engineering, assembly, and then obviously we take the discussions deeper offline and together privately. So we've got, firstly, one of the things that makes this conference possible, and I mentioned the experts in the room. Many of those include our sponsors who are here offering specific services in manufacturing and automotive manufacturing across the value chain. And we hope you have the opportunity to connect with many of them. You'll hear from some of them on the stage, but obviously they have booths and are on hand here. So just to acknowledge our gold partners, ArcelorMittal, AWS, Hardinge, MagSwitch, Samez, and SSAB, along with our silver partners, LMI Technologies, Trumpf, and our supporters, AIDA, Coherent, and Rockwell Automation. For those of you in the room, it's fantastic to have you all here. We're so glad after the COVID period that we have the chance to be together again. Some of you would have joined us over the past couple of years online at our various online events or our live streams or reading our content. So we welcome everyone here in the room, but we do also have an online audience. So welcome to those tuning in. Hello, Mom, as well. So we're very pleased to have our audience globally around the world who is able to watch this here live today, as well as on demand later. And those of you here as well have the opportunity via our conference app to connect with other delegates, both here and online. So if you download the app, you can see the agenda, you can see the live stream, there'll be chats and things. You can network with your other fellow delegates as well. So if you hadn't, you also received an email with a link to this, by the way. So you can just check your emails. If not, scan the QR code and you can check out our app there. Here as well is the Wi-Fi code for the room today, SVMH GAST, SWMH GAST. Connect at your leisure, and we can speak online as well as in person. Finally, before we get into the real discussions, we really value your feedback here at AMS. This is our first live event in a long time. What can we do better? What have we done right? What else would you like to see and hear from? Please give us your feedback. You can see there's feedback forms on the desks in front of you. There's also links in the app for those following us online. And we will have a prize draw later in the day to share with you. So take some time for that, and we will really appreciate it. So again, coming back now to our conference and shortly our first session. As mentioned, this event is really all about how do we motivate and move the European automotive industry to be pioneers in the next stage of electrification, to increase flexibility, scalability, speed to market as we move towards electrification and sustainable vehicle production. By that, of course, there are messages that could resonate across governments and policy, but again, the experts in the room today, we need more automation, we need advances in technology, we need software, we need all of the expertise which is sat here in this room and beyond to really work together. And we're gonna give you examples, case studies of where we see that happening in positive ways, hear from OEMs, tier ones, technology experts, traditional players, startups across the day to learn more about how they're each managing this transition. And as said, we're going to take a journey across the value chain in doing that.